I'm Dan Bunting, co-studio head at Treyarch.
Dan, what are you showing here at E3 with Call of Duty Black Ops 4?
Well, at E3 we have multiplayer playable on the floor at 2 different locations, at the Activision booth and also at the Sony booth. We're showing 4 maps. One of the new ones is called Frequency, which is a very fast-paced, kind of tight corridor map with some elevation in terms of the overall map, so there's a little bit of a fall to your death kind of penalty if you take some of the high-risk, high-reward paths. Yeah, it's multiplayer on the show floor.
I believe you guys also a couple days ago announced Nuketown would be available for Black Ops 4 too as well.
Yeah, that's right. So last week we went on a stream, Treyarch stream. We talked about not only are we doing Nuketown a little bit after launch for all fans, but we're also remastering some of our kind of older classic maps from the Black Ops series with Jungle, Firing Range, which of course everybody's anticipating, Summit, which was one of the original Black Ops 1 maps, and then Slums, which is a Black Ops 2 multiplayer map that fans loved because it was just very competitive. It was a really kind of tight choke point map that always gets that really intense head-to-head combat.
Since you guys got rid of a lot of the wall running and thruster jumping, that kind of stuff, is it easier or harder to import older maps into Call of Duty Black Ops 4?
Well, I would say that we did reimagine some older maps in Black Ops 3, and you do have to make a lot more design changes to accommodate the increased verticality that the movement system provided. But I wouldn't say it's any easier, really, because you still have to completely overhaul the map and rebuild it from scratch, more or less, with new art. And we do make design changes every time we bring an old map back, because it's just, you learn some things over the years, and I think that while some of the things that you didn't know many years ago actually add to the charm of the map, there's some things that you kind of get a second chance to go back and fix.
When you guys were developing this game before you even started to write any code, what made you decide to say, you know what, we're not going to do verticality this game. We're going to just stick to what we were doing, for Black Ops 1 and 2. And then again, we'll kind of just ignore Advanced Warfare and Infinite, and we'll just do this. Like, what made you guys decide to stay boots on the ground this time around?
Well, we always want to kind of reinvent ourselves with each game. We don't want any game to feel too much like the last one. We wanted to do something completely different. So, whenever we sit down to start designing a new game, we always look back at where have we come from, and we try to think about what are all the things that we loved about the journey that we've made so far, and what are the things that we feel like are improvements that we can make to make it better. And then we also look at just the game world around us, like how has the gaming landscape changed, and what are opportunities for us to do something new and different this time around. That's kind of your starting point. And then we really wanted to bring a more tactical pace to the game, because when you from game to game just get faster and faster and faster, like Black Ops 3 was probably about the pinnacle of how fast we could get in this franchise. It's like, where do you go from there? We wanted to sort of slow the pace down a little bit without slowing down the player, and we wanted to give players opportunities to think a little bit more, to feel those moments of pacing that allow them to have more tactical decisions that they can make, present more opportunities to work with your team, and have more teamwork, even if it's just passively. I mean, a lot of times players, you hear the word teamwork and you think that the game is kind of forcing you to work together, but it's not that way at all. It's just, just playing the game, you're going to be passively helping your team. And so these were some of our big overarching goals, and that's why you see the differences that we've introduced today.
Activision and Blizzard are a really big family of studios. I mean, you guys Treyarch, you got Sledgehammer, and Blizzard. Talk about how you guys work with each other to try to make an overall better gaming experience. We saw a lot of the Overwatch creative director talk a lot about Overwatch in the Black Ops trailer, what you guys exchanged ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the benefits of working for a large company like Activision. There are so many creative people around the business in different areas. I mean, Blizzard is a tremendous resource, and of course we're super excited to be partnering with them to release the game on the PC game on Battle.net this year. We also have good, strong partnerships with the other Call of Duty studios. So, we're always talking to Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer and Raven, and of course we're working with Beanox really closely this game for the PC experience. And it's something that we just everyone shares kind of feedback back and forth. We play their games, they play our games, they give us feedback, and it's really helpful because you get while each studio gets to have their own unique perspective and their own creative vision for what their game is going to be, you get this just years and years of experience collectively across the organization that can come and help you with just feedback about how it's turning out.
One of the biggest things our PC community is curious about is, since you're launching on the Blizzard launcher, how will that affect modding?
That's a good question. I think at this point in time we're not quite ready to talk about what the plans are for modding. Of course, people who have been with Treyarch for a long time know that we're big fans of the mod community, and many of our developers we hired directly from the mod community because they built a mod that got noticed. And in Black Ops 3 we released mod tools for the first time in the franchise in many years. And it's something that we are big believers and supporters in the mod community, but we're not quite ready to start talking about that yet.
It's good to know that it's on the table though. Like, you're not just like, sorry, we can't support mods. You're like, no, it's on the table. We just need to figure out how we're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So talk about the mode that everyone's been talking about, which everything in E3 is going to be Battle Royale, which it isn't. It's actually a very small percentage of it's Battle Royale, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly.
So talk about Battle Royale mode. What you can tell us that anything new announcements, anything like how does it work? Because Call of Duty has always been a very twitchy, fast. We were discussing before the interview about like the bullet fall. The bullet fall isn't. It's there, but it's not as bad as like Battlefield or like H1Z1 or any one of those games. It's a lot more instant.
Yeah, Call of Duty, just to speak about weapons for a minute, has always had traditionally a hit scan system, which of course means that as soon as you pull the trigger, the bullet is projected into a line and it's instantly on the enemy, which is great for that core kind of responsive feel and the tight corridor shooters kind of maps that we build for combat in our game. But when you start expanding those spaces and you go more open and you start building larger maps, and for example with Blackout, it's the largest map we've ever built. By an order of magnitude, like it's massive. You have to adapt your weapon systems to that. And for this game, not only have we overhauled our weapon systems just to give us more tunables in general, but we've specifically added a ballistic system that allows us to it just gives us more controls. Like basically, you can set some parameters on a weapon, on the velocity of the bullet, how fast it's going to travel from the gun, how far it's going to go before it starts to fall off. A lot of tunables that we have, a lot of controls over that, and you can just completely disable it. So you can have a weapon that's either straight up classic hit scan style or a weapon that's got ballistics. It just gives us more tunables to work with. So it's not. It doesn't definitively mean that every gun's going to work that way. It just means that we have the capability to tune them the best that we can for whatever scenario you're in.
Are the mechanics, the shooting mechanics, going to be different in Blackout mode as opposed to like the other multiplayer modes? Each mode is going to have a set of its own tuning. Even Zombies has its own tuning for guns because it's just the style of gameplay is different. So you need to design. You need to design for the core gameplay experience that offers. So, tight quarters multiplayer is going to have a different set of parameters than large scale open combat. And then you guys are also bringing vehicles back for the first time since World at War. I think that's the last one.
Yeah.
The community will call me out if I'm wrong, but I think it was World at War. You guys have the vehicles. What's that been like?
It's been awesome. We started in the franchise with vehicles. That was kind of our thing. Going back to the core team that was built at Treyarch came from United Offensive, or came from the Grey Matter team that merged with Treyarch. And that United Offensive was the first game after the original Call of Duty was released in 2003. And of course, our team had its own sort of creative take on what Call of Duty was at that time, and it was large scale and was very vehicular focused. And we kind of carried that tradition forward up until, like you said, World at War. So we have a lot of, and then of course we've done a lot of vehicular gameplay in the campaigns of the series. So we have a lot of technology and tools to make awesome vehicular combat. It's so much fun for us to now bring it back to multiplayer.
So when does Black Ops 4 come out? What platforms will it be on?
Black Ops 4 releases worldwide on October 12th, and it will be on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Now, and the bonus question of the day is, what about Nintendo Switch? That's the question of the show.
Yeah, we have no plans to release on Nintendo Switch this time.